I wish I was going to be in Vermont May 17th. Well, I will be in Vermont May 17th. I won't be in Vermont May 16th.
So you will be May 17th, so we can hang out.
I thought you were going to go cover the match in Epping.
I was hoping to, but the schedule gods just.
Did you say that?
Yeah, May 17th.
That's your sister's grandma.
I know, that's why.
Oh.
Because they're in Vermont.
Yeah, don't let her tell you what to do, Sam.
Yeah,
No,
Sam.
I love my life. Back to the regular scheduled program.
Yeah, I know. I owe you guys fucking dinner. That's fine.
So, yeah.
Oh, so that's when you want to do it? Do you want to do it on May 17th? Is that? Am I taking your sister out to dinner too?
I mean, allegedly they're going to rerouse. Allegedly they're going to rerouse.
Allegedly.
Why re-raws? Go to a nice dirty bar like JP's. Oh my God.
Somewhere where your feet stick to the floor and you have the possibility of actually getting stabbed.
Exactly.
I'm not saying that you're going to get stabbed, but there is the danger.
$5 PBR pitchers.
Nah, because karaoke that we went to, Mike. We went to a nice place after that lovely Portland.
Oh, we went to the archives, yeah. Yep. We did.
We got to take you to some of the dirty bars around town, Sam. That's where I used to go and drink. That was a grand old time.
McKee's, the Monkey Bar.
JP's, the Old North Ender.
Oh, Old North Ender. You'll definitely get stabbed there.
I saw someone get stabbed at the Old North Ender.
Yeah. That was the one-time home. That was the one-time home of Vermont Spurs.
Yep.
So,
and now look at Spurs.
Fighting relegation. You know what, Tyson? It's pretty amazing that now we could talk about this later.
Yeah.
But, I mean, how do you guys feel about like doing a podcast?
Yeah, baby.
Yeah, let's do it.
The big switch. Gray can't keep it in. It goes out, and that is it. In 2025, Vermont is the king of soccer. And the Vermont Green win their first ever USL2 title. And green is the color of victory once again in Burlington, Vermont.
Hey, it's the United Green Podcast. Guess what, guys? We're back. We are back. We took a week off. Not because we didn't have anything to talk about. It was so that we could kind of regroup, figure out what our next steps are, and how we wanted to proceed with the rest of this off season. There is stuff to talk about. There's actually news to talk about, and we're coming into the season here. So I want, if it would be okay with you guys, to talk about some possible predictions for season signings for players. But before we get into all of that, I want to introduce my two co-hosts. We have to go down to Massachusetts right now and talk to our good friend Sam Latoff. How you doing, man?
Doing good. Everybody, Noah Khan, more Vermont Green hat again.
Watch out. He was just on some podcast talking about how he feels responsible for ruining his hometown. So
I did see that. And I want to put it out there. Noah Khan was on the Men in Blazers whatever podcast. If you want to join an actual soccer podcast, come on over to United in Green, please.
Ooh, that's going to be rough for one of our ex co-hosts.
We don't get up early in the morning to watch soccer, so we're not actually soccer fans here in the United States. So,
Right. You know what? They don't get up early in the morning either over there because their soccer's in the afternoon as well.
But don't tell Roger that.
Moving on over to my left, we have the man with beards for days, the returning champion, Tyson. What is happening, man?
It is a just goddamn beautiful day out. The sun is shining through my window. It was a balmy, 56 degrees as I was pulling into my house. And you know what? I'm always reminded of how much nicer like the low 50s are in the early spring as compared to like a random September night when you're just really not expecting it. You know what? Just like the mid 50s with the sun shining. T-shirt weather. It was fantastic.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not going to disagree. In fact, like we had a little bit of sunshine yesterday as well. It was really nice out, and my wife and I went and had a nice dinner up in St. Albans at the Drake. Good spot, good fish and chips. I mean, it was fish and fries, but still, it was a good fish and chips. They made some really nice cocktails. So my kids, my son is right now in Holland, doing his thing out there at the far post U14s, and so far they're 2-1-1, so 2 wins, 1 loss, 1 draw. And they actually beat the academy kids from the U14 or U15s from, I don't know, whatever the third place team is in Eredivisie. Which is cool. And they've gotten to train at PSV with their youth academy and Ajax with their youth academy. So it's what a great experience he has. My daughter right now is away in Nashville with a good friend. Her first kind of pre-spring break. I can't even talk.
That's fine, pal.
Yeah, no, her very
just
first spring break. Let's just say that. So yeah,
I love
the wife and
Nashville.
wife and I are here empty nesters.
What a
Look
what a
at you guys.
great time to be empty nesting, and good for your daughter because Nashville is a great town. My wife and I went there actually on our honeymoon. We were there for a week, and then we were in Dollywood for a week. But I was bummed because when we went, I was unable to see Nashville SC play. I was very excited for that. I did get some solid Nashville merch. I will say that even though like it's got some kind of pretty basic colors, they've got, the same kind of blue and gold. Nashville kits, very nice, very clean.
Well, I mean, they use that same blue and gold for their stupid hockey team.
The Preds,
A
yeah,
Predator.
yeah.
A
Yeah.
great name for a hockey team.
Great name for a hockey team. Terrible fans who don't know anything about hockey.
Well, I mean, being a fan of
but
Predator
I
is not
digress.
something I want to be. So
See, we're not just a soccer podcast, guys. We cover everything. We cover everything here at United in Green, and nobody can say different. So tonight, let's talk about let's just get right into it and start talking about who we feel are going to be coming in. There are some players that have already been announced, as we know. One of them being our goalkeeper, Nikki Clean Sheets. And Joe Bakoto, right? So we don't have to necessarily talk about them. We can go ahead and do some predictions based on what we saw maybe in the U.S. Open Cup matchups. We can talk about. I think there's one player I think we want to talk about because I think might be a linchpin for us and a possible podcast guest in the future. But we'll get to him later on. He was supposed to come on earlier, and we shifted gears to Brandon Marshall at the last second on that podcast. So we'll get into him later on. But I want to start with Tyson, and let's get a read on who you think. Give me a player that you think might be coming in to the squad that hasn't been announced yet, but we're hoping or might be announced.
So my guy that we have, collectively as United in Green and, kind of as some of the more, shall we say, connected fans have heard rumblings that a lot of the folks who are on the U.S. Open Cup squads have a very high chance of being a part of the team for this summer. Someone I really want to highlight is Mitch Baker, because I feel like the game against Westchester, he was there, he was in and around it all night. He just couldn't quite get that final finishing touch that he needed to, go and, not everyone can get a wonderfully laid off ball like David Ismail had against Hearts of Pine. Not to take anything away from David Ismail for scoring that incredibly, good and crucial goal, but Mitch Baker was doing nothing but putting himself in good positions against Westchester. He just couldn't quite get that final ball into the net. He had, one or two good, clean strikes that, again, just didn't quite manage to trickle in. But watching him go up against the grown ass professionals for Westchester, Mitch Baker is, I think he's like taller than 6'3". He's a big, angry Aussie. I think that he is going to, if he does come to Vermont this summer, he's going to eat defenses alive. And we really haven't had a striker that's kind of built like this since year one when we had Ethor Björgolfsson on the squad, because, as much as we talk about Yaniv being kind of a complete forward, he could kind of do everything, good in the air, good on the ground, could play off the wing if needed to. Mitch Baker looks to me like kind of your classic out and out target man. He can receive the ball, turn on the shoulder of a defender, and either lay it off to another attacking midfielder or, take the ball to goal himself. I can just see players like Zelafru, like Mitch Catton, like Miller or Millar, just being able to get the ball up to that guy and then just make runs. And Western Mass is going to be sweating knowing that a player like Mitch Baker is up leading the front of Vermont Green. Again, if he does in fact sign.
Yeah, and I think kind of to go backwards. I mean, someone who I think would be very interesting. We got to see him play in the back line during the Open Cup is Igor Akolov, and I mean, when you look at Vermont Green back line, it's kind of a unique challenge because obviously Vermont typically has a lot of the ball, and I feel like whether it's the back line, the center back or the goalkeeper, it can be easy to maybe switch off a little bit. But I feel like guys like Akolov and Marshall, they could play some key roles. You have the departure of Musa and Dai, and I mean, it seems like Brandon Marshall's kind of going to be the guy to fill in that leadership role. But was pretty pleased with how Akolov and the team in general performed. Obviously, getting the doing well against Portland and Westchester against these professional teams. It makes you think that they would do well. Against even the top teams like Western Mass and what have you. So I mean, I'm really excited to potentially see Akolov. And I mean, even if you look at the guys who are announced, really excited to see Marcus Dos Santos get a full season with Vermont. Really excited to see up front, how does a guy like David Jagbe kind of come into the fold, compete for minutes, and overall be able to perform? Because he was able to perform a little bit, in his first season, but I think he probably would have wanted maybe potentially some more minutes or to be able to make a little bit more of an impact. So really just interested to see, but the guy that I'm keeping an eye on is definitely, on the back line, Igor Akolov.
Now, so yeah, let's talk about both these players. So like first of all, we have Mitch, he's likely, like if he does sign, he comes into the squad, he's likely, like Tyson said, going to be a big target man. He's 6'3", 6'4", big man. He's also he's not just a big dude, he's a big physical dude. He's a lump of a human being, right? So in the very small sample size we had, he didn't really have time to bed in with the team the way that maybe he would have wanted. And hopefully when or if we see him again, we get a lot more sample size out of him. We have had players in the past, in guys like Alfie Pope, who were very promising and just never really featured for the team. Did have that sick bike in one of the games. And I think that was actually a friendly, but still at the same time, yeah, we've had a very small sample size out of Mitch, out of any of these players that we're going to talk about. He's only 19 years old, so that's a real plus. This is a guy who's not necessarily, well, probably if he comes in, won't be one of these guys who's going to be a one and doneer, right? He could be a 2 or 3 year option, as we've seen out of players like Zach Zenge. We're going to be getting out of Nicholas Herseg. We got out of Rodri and especially Musa, right? So like, and a guy who played his position, Yaniv Bazzini. Different types of players. I think Baker is likely to be one of these guys, like Tyson said, a big target man, a guy who can get his head on the ball. You know, a guy who's pretty technical in the box. He's got a high work rate. And he's going to be one of these guys who's going to be an attacking forward. He's going to be he's not going to be one of these guys who's going to be dropping back, playing a ton of defense. He's going to be a guy who's going to want to get the ball and get out on the run with his fast wingers. In the limited action we saw out of him, for me, he was pretty active, right? He was pretty active. He was great on the press for what we saw. He had the unfortunate miss on the penalty kick, but that doesn't really mean anything. Territorial dominance was like he dominated his area of the field that he played in on almost every turn, and he was, casual observers won't see these types of things, right? So this is why we're talking about this. Like, this is a guy that I really want to see, up front, a big, strong target man. And then, we can in the later stages of the game, if we have to, we can spell him. And we can spell him with somebody like who may be on the bench, like in a Jagbay, who could play all three positions across the front, right? But I think that Mitch isn't going to be a guy that we're going to see coming in and being a huge piece of the buildup. He's going to be that target man.
Well, I was going to say real quick that one of the things that having a player like Baker on your team is that he can provide a great change of pace player. We can talk about how, Vermont has kind of made a name for themselves, kind of playing along the ground. There's a lot of really fast interplay between, wingers and strikers. But, sometimes when teams like Sea Goats or Western Mass are just playing that low block, you just need some big old bastard who can just go and get up and get his head onto a lofted ball. And I feel like sometimes, for maybe obviously not last year, but the year before that, and, maybe 2 or 3 years ago, there were definite times where Vermont didn't really have that player to be able to just go and body some folks or try and shove around some defenders. And it's great to go and have the kind of really amazing passing and transition play that Vermont has. But when, opposing teams are parking the bus, you need to have that battering ram to punch through it.
Yeah, and I mean, you looked at the performances against Portland and Westchester, and Vermont was able to find success playing, quite direct, whether, it be strikers winning hold up player, even just the ball getting in behind defenders. So, I mean, being able to have a big, tall striker, I think every team could probably benefit from it, whether it's, Vermont Green or, me covering the Newman Revolution. So, it would be great for that to return because like you said, whether it's E4 and, you need Pizzini had a little bit of that in his game, but, it definitely seemed like something that was missing. So if you're able to add that to this team after winning a championship, I feel like that could maybe not be the missing piece, but just further solidify, how strong this team is.
I think that when you lose players, large players, especially guys like Musa and Da, guys who are good, really good in the air, right? We had a number of a number of good center backs that were good in the air. This is a guy whose frame and his physicality allows him to be one of these guys who's going to be good as a defender on set pieces, right? And especially in a league that and really in a time in soccer that set pieces are very, very popular. They're very important in a league like USL too, because lots of times set pieces just fall in the box and bounce around, right? Um, you have to be able to be dirty in the trenches, and he's got that frame, he's got that profile to be able to get in there and box out, attacking players on a set piece. Um, and the thing about him is like the question about him is he going to be one of these players that's going to be one of those 2 to 3 year players who's going to be a developmental player, or is he going to come in and really, you know, uh, fit the position that he's being asked to play by Chris Taylor? It's always going to be that question. So you never know. He's just a young man. So like if he happens to sign with us and come to play with us, the sky's the limit for him. It really is. Now let's getting on to the guy you talked about, Sam, Igor Akolov. Um, he's probably maybe a more defined kind of prospect, right? Than we would see out of Mitch. Um, he's clearly a starter, in a USL2 squad. Um, he dominated in the US Open Cup. He dominated in duels against USL1 competition, right? Like Vermont overall dominated duels in both of those games. And he comes from one of the higher level college programs too. So like you have a guy who's like a very good one-on-one defender. Again, another guy who's a big physical presence in the box. Um, he's not necessarily going to be the guy who's going to be able to come out of the box with the ball and carry the ball. I don't think he's going to be asked to do that. Um, but he will be able to help dominate possession. He will be able to anchor that back line with Brandon Marshall. And I think they've already started to click a little bit and understand the way each other play. And Brandon Marshall has not been announced yet, right?
No, he's been announced.
He has been announced. Okay. I always forget, we get into this part of the season and we have so many women's players,
Yes.
and we'll talk about that. They're also being announced. We'll talk about that at the end of the podcast. But with Brandon Marshall, I think he would be a perfect fit, to kind of anchor that back line. Chris Taylor's system really relies on two big center backs, at least one speedy and one that can carry the ball with confidence and can make those incisive passes to link up the midfield play with the forwards. So I think that Igor Akolov is going to is really going to click well with someone like Brandon Marshall or even a Maloney if he comes right. So we saw a lot of really, really great players, coming out of the US Open Cup. What do you guys think? So we have Marco Dos Santos, and we've already sung his praises. He had really, really great game against Hearts of Pine. Maybe not as much, not as effective against a team like Westchester, who played fucking Sean Dyche low block bully ball, right? Like, not allow you into their house to score, right? So that didn't really fit Marco's playing style that he showed us from that first game. But how do you think he's going to fit in to a system like Chris Taylor has?
I mean, he definitely seems kind of invested in the system, willing to kind of play that pressing soccer. And I just feel like, whether it's kind of soccer in general, but I think Vermont Green as a whole too, wingers do play, very important roles, whether it's being able to cross the ball into the box or simply, be able to create goal scoring chances on their own. So, I mean, really excited to see what Dos Santos can do. You can already kind of get the sense of, obviously why he was, maybe quote unquote hated when he was at Seagoats. He's able to get in opponents' heads. He's able to upset them with how he plays. And he's not willing to back down from a challenge. I think we saw in the Westchester game him, have to get subbed off a little bit due to a bloody nose or something like that. So I think he's a committed player. And I think in a Chris Taylor system, that's extremely important. And, you also look at potential guys to come back. You have a Millar. And I think if you look at overall just how kind of that front attack performed, they both did a great job of being able to win second balls. If the strikers went up, were able to head it, they were there for those second balls. And, I think it's going to be very interesting to see how they continue to intertwine with someone like Ryan Zelafro. Again, a very talented player. Looks like he's potentially going to, it's definitely going to be a tough job to do, but fill in for that Zach Zenge role in terms of where he plays on the field. But really excited for Dos Santos. Think he could be a very important player. And personally, I was impressed with how Millar performed as well.
Yeah, I mean, both Dos Santos and Millar were pretty imperious on the wing, quite frankly, against Portland. I in the years that we have spent watching Dos Santos play for the New Hampshire team that shall not be named, I think that it is one thing to have kind of hated that player because he was playing against you. Like the comparison that I've been using kind of throughout the past couple of months is that he's very much a Brad Marchand kind of player. He is a player who, if he is on your team, he is beloved. If he is not on your team, he will be hated because he is the kind of player who will give his everything to the team that he is playing for. He will run you down. He will press the ball. He will attack with the ball. We saw his involvement with the goal for David Ismail in the Hearts game. That was hard running and good dribbling that put him in a position to be the secondary assist on that goal to take down Hearts. He's just someone who is very invested in seemingly everything he does. I am very, very excited to have him on social media FC. He seems to be getting very behind being on this team. And like I'm honestly just like super excited to see him be in a environment where people are actually watching him play game in and game out, because he did not have that when he was playing over in Epping, New Hampshire, a place that is nowhere near the seacoast.
I mean, they had a great kind of little balcony setup, Tyson. I mean, he had probably 5 people. But
There was also like
people were there. They just might not
there
have
were
been
people
actually
there. There were parents and Vermont Green fans. But there was a nice little bar and snack bar area off that balcony that was not open. Fine, whatever. Marco Santos, yeah. So the guy who coined the phrase social media FC, the guy who gave me shit and said he would never come to Vermont. Yeah, and I'm calling him out right now. We'll be okay with each other. We've already been chatting a little bit on some DMs. Yeah, he's another one of these guys who's a seasoned player in this league, right? He's using Vermont Green, and this is not a knock against him. He's using Vermont Green as a pathway to get that notoriety, to get that face time with a lot of these scouts and stuff that are going to be looking for a guy who, again, sits somewhere in between Igor Akulov at 23, 24 years old, and Mitch Baker at 19 years old, right? It's sitting right there at 21 years old. The thing about Marco is that he's seasoned at 21 years old in this league. So, I think the thing that we can see out of him in a Vermont Green uniform so far is that he, like, the raw stats, the raw data that we see don't necessarily give any indication on how much he affected the game, right? You often see that, people like to use stats to, the big home run hitters. Those are the great ball players, right? In baseball, right? That's not necessarily true. It's like you have those guys like the Kevin Youkilis's of the world, who, on base percentage, and field presence, and guys who are good in the locker room. That's the type of guy that Marco Dos Santos is outside of where he is as a player. He affects the game so much just because of the way he moves. He affects the game in a way that he, like Tyson said, frustrates people on the field. He is very much, like Brad Marchand, or like, and Tyson will probably attest to this, like a former Tottenham player, Eric Lamela. He just an absolute shithouser who plays the same position, right? So, somebody who's on the edge, just terrorizing a left back the entire game, right? Just with the way that he can take a man on 1v1, he can put a cross into the box, he can beat you out onto the wing, he can run underlapping and overlapping runs with a fullback, right? So there's a lot of stuff that he can do, but outside of that, he's just like a terrible person to play against. I mean, he just is. He's not a possession guy. He's not a guy who's going to look to kind of like circulate the ball. He's going to look to finish almost every time. And that's fucking dangerous. That's fucking dangerous when you have a target man like Mitch Baker that's going to be sitting in the box. You have a big, strong presence like David Jagby, who's going to be sitting there at the back post. You have a presence like a Ryan Zillifro, who arrives in the box at the perfect time, right? Who can pop in goals, just by being there at the right place, the right time. Like, he is going to be lighting up the field. And I think that we're really, really, really going to be excited to watch him. And on top of all of that, the dude can fucking pass, and he draws fouls. He draws a lot of fucking fouls. He drew a lot of fouls against Hearts. And that's, I think, part of where, like, guys like him are a nightmare to play against.
Yeah, I mean, he was getting into all these rights head, I'll say, and again, I just think the fact that he is kind of committed in how he plays, whether it's defending opponents, or looking to win second balls, or looking to close out games. I think that's very crucial in the Chris Taylor system. So I think it's going to be very good, and excited to see just how well Marcos is able to do.
Okay, so looking at these three players, we know that Marco Dos Santos is coming. Let's just assume that all three of them will be here together. I want to do a ranking of these players, and not a worst to best ranking or best to worst ranking. I want to do a ranking of who is going to have the most positive effect on the team this season. Go Tyson.
So I think that that's tricky because I think that my ranking would probably go number 1 Dos Santos, number 2 Igor, number 3 Baker. And the reason why I have Baker down at number 3 is that we know that Chris Taylor likes to rotate and change around his kind of focal point of attack. Kind of the point of that spear is always going to be, whatever striker he's going and throwing on, and he'll go and change around which striker kind of depending on the way he thinks he can kind of crack open a defense. I think that anytime you have a big, strong defender like Igor back there with Brandon Marshall, I think that, Vermont Green teams are, we do always talk about how historically it is a kind of attacking and transition team, but you cannot have that style of play without good center defenders who are able to get up there and either win that first ball or second ball from a opposing team that is trying to get the ball out of their half. And number 1, you know, the gaffer, he likes to play with attacking wingers. And Owen O'Malley will be not Owen. I meant to say like Owen O'Malley, like Zach Zengay, like all of the incredibly talented wingers, Nathan Messer that we've seen kind of come through Vermont Green over the years, and I think that Marco Dos Santos is going to be someone who is really going to, exert his kind of will over other players in the USL too, because we've seen him do that to Vermont Green players. And so that's why
He frustrated Benny Prego, right? I mean,
yeah, and definitely, Benny Prego had
guy who's playing in Portugal, right? I mean, just
yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, to Tyson's point, I mean, I have a little bit of a different list. I do think I actually have Akolov at the top, then I would have Baker, then I'd have Marcos Dos Santos, just because I do think, these wingers are such kind of a focal point. But I feel like, in terms of making a positive impact, if you have a guy like Baker who's really able to perform well, able to start racking up goals, able to be a physical presence, maybe even just drawing attention away for others to kind of fill in and be able to get these scoring chances. I think that can be a major impact. And overall, I think just, for Akolov being at the top, the team just needs to have a very strong back line. They need to have players who are not just good defenders, but are also good in terms of getting the ball at the field, strong on the ball, and being able to when teams are pressing, being able to break through that. And I think that like you said, Mike, Akolov might have some work to do in terms of carrying the ball and maybe moving upfield, but I feel like there's the potential for him to grow in that game. So I personally think just because of how center backs play, Akolov could probably have the biggest impact. And then I really think that if Vermont can have a big, tall striker who's, able to do well on set pieces, able to win aerial duels, being able to win balls, and they can even play a little bit more direct if they want. I think that could have a big impact on just how well they're able to do.
yeah. I mean, I totally agree with the sentiments from both of you guys. I did kind of want to put you guys on the spot just to pick a guy, right? Just to pick a guy. I think my guy's a Marco Dos Santos. And it's just based on everything we've said about him, is like his ability to affect a game in so many different ways, whether it's his attacking, whether it's his ability to draw fouls, whether it's his speed or his ability to frustrate defenders. Like I think that he's going to be I think he might even be more electric and more fun to watch than what we saw out of a guy like Stefan Njike last year. Maybe in a different way. I mean, I don't think Marco is gonna go and do like 55 backflips. You know, play 90 plus minutes of a game and then go out and do backflips with the kids on the field. But he will be a fan favorite. I think we've been told this about Marcos, and it's just gonna be really exciting to watch this year. Now, moving on from our predictions for these players, you know, and those were predictions. We have no inside information as to who's going to be coming to the team. I'm just like, I for myself, I'm just hoping and wishing and hoping that these are the players that we get to see, that because those U.S. Open Cup teams were so much fun to watch. Just amazing, you know, just conglomeration of talent that we're able to bring here, you know, through our sporting director and our head coach and the work that the founders have done to help bring these players here for those two matches. I just hope to see those two other players that have not yet been announced. So we can move on to this new thing we got going on here. We didn't really know existed.
I knew it existed.
Well, Sam, yeah, of course you knew it existed. You're a journalist. This is what you do, kind of.
Hey, big time Seth Macomber was down in the Seacoast covering the 2025 tournament.
Oh, so they'll play that. They'll play in that tournament, but they won't play in the Open Cup. What a bunch of horse shit. Because it's games that they know that they could probably win, right? Because they're
they ended up losing. They Alfa Arlito won the tournament.
Alfa Arlito did. Okay, very good.
Take a
So
sip.
we're talking, and I'm not even joking about the name of this tournament. It's the Hank Steinbrecher Cup, not Hank Steinbrenner.
I also thought it was Steinbrenner.
Yeah, it's Steinbrecher.
Steinbrecher.
So this tournament's been around since 2013. It was kind of established for the amateur leagues, the pre-professional / amateur leagues. And it's a single elimination tournament. It determines the amateur champion of champions. It is the Champions League semifinal and final of amateur football in the United States, and it features the champions of USL League 2, the champions of the NPSL, the USASA Amateur Cup champions, and the winner of the USSSA, which I thought was a softball association, National Champions League, the NCL. So we have Vermont Green that will be playing in this for the first time this year, and it presents a couple of different challenges for head coach Chris Taylor, which means, because it's an in-season tournament, it means a little bit of squad rotation, squad management, something that Chris Taylor has not yet had to do.
Also,
I guess you could say he had to, because he had like 6 days where he had to do like 4 games.
True, but also I think it's kind of horseshit that the team that we are playing, Hickory FC,
Dickory Dock
FC, who are in the tournament representing the NPSL, which is a league that they don't even play in anymore. This year they are suiting up in the USL 2. They left the NPSL, but still, because they are technically the champions of the NPSL, even though they're no longer in that league, they are still going and taking part in this tournament. I just think it's kind of funny, and wanted to go and yell about something. I do think that Hickory is a very interesting team for Vermont to play against, because Hickory has a 8,000 seat stadium that they routinely get 6,000 to 7,000 fans to come out to support this team. It is kind of one of those Southern teams like Asheville, like Appalachia, who do get they've kind of done the same kind of community building that Vermont has done. They have a lot of great buy-in. Yeah, like similar but different.
We'll talk about that in a second.
Yeah. So I think that it is going to be an interesting game, like you said, Mike, because obviously you're right. It is a mid-season tournament and it is multiple rounds. So if we do beat Hickory, we are going to have to play some other random team from one of the other amateur divisions.
It will be Westchester United SC or the winner of the NCL.
Or
the National
TBA, to be announced.
Yeah, we'll find that out in May.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, it also kind of sucks that the tournament is down in Carolina. I mean, obviously that adds to the journey that Vermont has to make. Obviously being an environmentally cautious club, that just adds extra emissions that they have to account for. So definitely gonna be difficult in terms of squad rotation, but I think in terms of talent, it's exciting to see the team play Hickory, but I think if they beat Hickory, they should be winning the tournament. And it's always great to add silverware to the trophy cabinet. And I mean, I think we have to get CONCACAF to somehow get a Champions Cup. I think it's Champions Cup now spot for these teams. Because I just want Vermont to be playing like
in CONCACAF.
Yeah, I need Club America. I need Club America versus coming to Burlington. But yeah, I mean, it's an interesting little tournament, and it's kind of being able to connect this amateur landscape that can be really sectored off. So it's great to see that and see how Vermont measures up. I think they'll measure up quite well. But kind of sucks that it's not going to be in Burlington.
Well, I mean, the first round is not in Burlington. Should Vermont win against Hickory in Hickory with those we'll say edgy fans.
That's what you'll say?
That's you want me to say disgusting? I can say disgusting too.
Okay.
We've seen a number of issues with visiting fans from their fans. We've seen a number of issues with a secondary supporters group that they've had with their fans down with their primary supporters group down there. They don't get along with their own fans. It's similar to Lions Bridge, except a little more violent. And despite their actually kind of cool logo with that nice tree, I don't expect anything different out of their fans just because Vermont's coming. In fact, I expect them to be a lot more harsh to the Vermont players than they're probably have ever been used to or are going to see. That said, should Vermont win, the final will be in Burlington.
Wow,
yeah.
Breaking news.
I'm not breaking news. It was on the Vermont Green website.
That's only reading, pal. And I wrote it. I don't know if I wrote it.
I do occasionally read things. And when I do,
I read them on the
Blazing Musket. The Blazing Musket is a New England soccer website that covers every team in New England, from Vermont Green to the New England Revolution to Hartford Athletic now with the Average Fan podcast. And I'll even mention his name this time. Seth Macomber writes occasionally on New Hampshire teams. And
he doesn't.
He doesn't write on New Hampshire teams? No, he just busts my ass about it. Okay, fine. we will get occasional content out of big time Matty Anks. And of course, our favorite Sean Facto up there in Maine. I just went to Maine. Sean offered me his ticket to the Hearts of Pine game. I did not want to go in 40-degree weather in the downpouring rain because I was not prepared for that game. I would not have been prepared for that game, and then the 4-hour drive home. So another time. Thank you very much, Sean, for the ticket. I hope you were able to get rid of it when I gave it back to you. So yeah, go and support the Blazing Muskets paid tier if you can. Lot of great content coming out of there. I just learned how to upload content myself onto that. So we're going to be getting some more United in Green content coming out of there. You'll be able to find our stupid faces on there. Possibly you'll be able to find our podcast on there if you would like. And we'll be uploading that weekly as we go along through the rest of this off season and the summer months, which could be long summer months if we have the same path that we did last year. So support the Blazing Musket if you can, please. That said, we talked about the fixture congestion for fans like us. We do have the women's matches coming up, and very, very soon, United in Green will be announcing a quote unquote sister podcast that will go along with the Vermont Green content that you all love that's coming out of our podcast. It will be a women's podcast, name yet to be determined, but it will be hosted by one of our founding members of the Green Mountain Boys, Sarah, and I will be co-hosting possibly for the entire season until such a time as we find another co-host. And I think that the content that's going to come out of there that you're going to get from Sarah, that you'll get from that you would usually get out of United in Green is going to be thorough. It's going to be riveting. It's going to be exciting and fun to listen to. And I can't wait to bring them into the Vermont Green family of podcasts and into hopefully the Blazing Musket family of podcasts as well. It will be the pre-professional version of the Swan Dive, hopefully, if we're lucky enough to get that type of a following. So stay tuned for that, and we'll be announcing that on social media soon.
Look at you, media mogul Mike.
Media mogul, yeah, that's it. I set out to be a media mogul when I was spending hours and hours in the principal's office at Mount St. Joseph Academy down in Rutland.
Just like we all do.
It looks like we're coming up on time. I'm going to give you guys each a little time for final thoughts and to plug whatever you want to plug. If you want to plug anything, go for it, and I will pick Sam.
Well, Mike, I really do appreciate it. Great chatting with you guys. I picked a really awkward time to get a bug in my throat. Really just excited for this Vermont Green season. I mean, you talk about fixture congestion. I don't know how many times I'll be able to get up to Vermont or even cover the games down here. Busy time for soccer. So, like Mike said, I'll subscribe to Blazing Musket. But, really excited. Really think that both of these teams could have very successful seasons. And just happy for Vermont Green soccer to be back in our lives. I did see that Ballard FC released their kits. They have a 3D kit. Very interested to see when we potentially get a new Vermont Green kit. Will it be in 4D? Many are asking.
Will it be in 4D?
Will I be able to smell the kit?
Oh boy. I don't know.
If
I
anyone
think
can do
if
it,
you're going to
trust
smell the
me,
kit, that's Vermont Clover's. That's Vermont Clover's thing, right?
Oh, okay.
They have get it because they have the flower on their crest thing.
That's a good joke. It's a good joke, Mike.
That was
Hey, they're
terrible.
doing good. Shout out to Vermont Clover, having a good season so
You know
far.
what? They're having a great start to their season, and very excited to see what they can do too. Tyson?
Yeah, Tyson.
Yeah. I just want to shout out one of the Green Mountain Boys, Terry, because
The
Terry
real
was.
insider.
Everyone loves Terry. Terry was at the National Brewers Conference in Philadelphia just recently, and you know who he happened to run into there? Just another random Vermont Green fan who works over at Lawson's. Terry believes that he remembers that that guy's name is Russ. Russ listens to this podcast. He is a fan of this podcast. So shout out to you, Russ. Keep on spreading the good word over in Philly or wherever you may be. And I bring that up because I know that we do have a lot of Vermont listeners. We have listeners around the world. We are, united in green. We're united everywhere we go. But I mentioned specifically Vermont because check out this segue. The 7 Daisies are back. And you might not know about this, Sam, but 7 Days, it's an alt-weekly magazine that does these huge year-end awards where basically they go and hand out like the best of whatever the fuck all over Vermont. And you know what?
All things local, man.
All things local, hyper local, like they get down into the nitty gritty. And I say this because what was it? 2 years ago, Mike, United in Green got nominated for best local.
Actually,
Vermont.
both years.
Both years, yeah. So 2 years ago.
2 years ago, we made it to the finals, right?
Yes, that's right. And you know what? We got fucked over by those bastards at Vermont Public Radio. Those absolute bastards over at Brave Little State. How dare they go around doing quaint and adorable podcasts about the history of the Vermont accent and things about how you. Huh?
I was just making a joke.
Oh, we've got a terrible Vermont accent. I can talk in it if I feel like it, but I don't right now. Then, how do you actually say the town of Wolcott's name? But I'm really saying that because the 7 Daisies nominations are open. Nominate Vermont Green. Tell your friends. Get us out there. We'll take on those bastards from Vermont Public Radio. We do love the folks over at the Sports Report. Mike and I had a great time being on their show. We bear no grudge to the Sports Report. It's Brave Little State. We're coming for you.
We are coming for you, and we're gonna bring our legions of fans
and Blazing Musket subscribers now.
And Blazing Musket subscribers. And you know what? Watch out. We can talk to other former Vermont Green players and get them to vote too. They love us.
Multiple times.
All of our listeners and our subscribers love us. The Blazing Musket listeners and subscribers love us. I would venture a guess as to say the friggin' soccer show listeners love us too. Maybe.
You know who loves us? Marco Mitrovic. Marco Mitrovic loves us.
Yeah, Marco loves us too. I mean, he's trying his damnedest to pull those New England Revolution soccer players out from the basement and into the sunlight.
5 months in a row.
And hopefully someday the MLS will be a shining beacon of light for the soccer world in America. But for now, they're just corporate monsters who feed off of fans who just want some sort of enjoyment in sports entertainment. So with that said, my name is Mike. I am one of the hosts of United in Green, and I just want to say I really love and respect you all, and I want everybody to go out there, be safe, and protect your mental health, and at all costs, up the green.
Up the green. The green.